Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk about Yingying and Yugo, the new anniversary centers. Just starting off with their crime brands, Yingying can run pretty much anything. There are so many options for her that it becomes exhaustive. I went with Bell Tower just because it's easy, very straightforward speed running thing, but there's so many things that can work out. If you are in doubt, just go with Tower and Arrival. That's a slot 1 and a slot 3 Tower and Arrival, and then whatever in slot 2 works. There's so many options that work on Ying Yang, you don't have to worry about it. On Yugo, I would always run Oasis in slot 2. Oasis in slot 2 makes slot 1 and slot 3 awkward. Normally, I would just go with Nightmare Revelation if you're doing speedruns. But in this case, Ma was very good. I need to put it on somebody, so I put it on Yugu, and I just left a one-piece Nightmare Revelation on Yugu. It's not optimized. Don't. I mean, like she practically doesn't have a slot one crime brand, but it's fine. She doesn't need it. She just needs these two. But again, Oasis is the big thing that you're looking for. Stick with that, and you're going to be good. Jelena, Shackles of Life. This is the DPS variant of Jelena. Again, I wouldn't recommend this to most players, just like my advanced players that know what they're doing. If you are newer or if you're casual or something like that, run THC. The energy makes it easy to play, especially if you only have her at Shackle 0. This Shackles of Life is like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I know how to pilot this team. I'm familiar with Jelena enough that I know what I'm doing. And if that's your case, Shackles of Life is usually your best option. Usually. Blue recently got a brand new set of crime brands called like Against the Light or something like that. That's very specifically for Blue in Yingying team comps. This is the most specialized crime brand we've ever seen, where it's for Blue when paired with Yingying. It's crazy how good this crime brand is, and it's also crazy how very specific it is. Um, Ultimately, I tried a bunch of different crime brands. I tried Illusory Moon. I tried Bell Tower on Blue. There's a lot of things that worked and came very close to this 281 score. But to get this 281 score, I ended up using Against the Light. So, like, rough, I haven't done any damage tests or anything like that, but like rough first impressions, Against the Light is very powerful and is Blue's strongest crime brand now. Again, that's first impressions, not dedicated testing or anything like that. Um, Hecate is running Heartache. Hecate's crime brands don't matter. She just needs Corridor. If she has Corridor, she's fine. The rest of it doesn't matter. It would matter if I let the boss show his cores, but I never let the boss show his cores, so it doesn't matter. And then LL is running the classic THC, just energy max. Now, this team is very powerful, and ultimately what happens is Ying allows blue to crit. Awesome. Um, Yugo then gives crit chance to blue. Now she's allowed to crit and she has crit chance. Great. And then Jelena gives blue crit damage. Okay, now blue can crit, she has crit chance, and she has crit damage. Awesome. So these four are like the team. And if you don't have blue, you can replace her with the new A rank. The new A rank is very good. Or other DPS options like 11, Irene, Victoria. There's a few options out there, but as long as it's like a DPS focused Arcana center, then it'll work. But blue's the best of the lot. So these four are like the core team, and then we have two Arcanas already, Yingying and Blue, and Yugo gets stronger if there's three Arcanas on our team. So we pick up Hecate. Hecate is like a very supportive center who happens to be an Arcana. Raven also works, but I chose Hecate for very obvious reasons that you'll see in a second. But yeah, Raven, Hecate in this fifth slot, beautiful. And then your sixth slot is your Catalyst. Whatever Catalyst you want to use. LL is like Blue's favorite partner, so LL is a very obvious choice. But if you need healing, you can throw Hamel or Duoro or somebody else on there. You can put Cabernet there. You can put Enfer there. You can put more core breaking there. This team does lack core breaking, so if you want to put like Thistle or somebody in there who can core break, awesome, go ahead, go nuts. But that's the basic of the team. As for the run itself, it goes very straightforward. Again, the whole idea here is that everybody is helping Blue out. The entire thing is just to let Blue go crazy. And it just so happens that Ying Ying hits like a truck too. But if we just go ahead and hit play, We're just giving energy to people and setting up Yingying's initial skill. The neat thing about this is that she is going to pop her ECB, and her ECB can only hit this diamond shape that you see. Um, and there's a lot of better placements that you could do if you are not instantly clearing the stage. I am skipping the core break phase entirely. I am just straight DPSing right out of the gate. This is the speed run of ultimate speed runs. Normally there's 3 phases. Normally you wave clear, and then you core break, and then you DPS. I am taking out the core break, and I am just throwing DPS and wave clear into one big ol' button. This is not the typical experience. This is very specific speed run experience. Um, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and throw that out. And again, this position is very specific. This diamond position is very specific to this speed run. If you are doing it a normal fashion where you're going through the core break, there are better positions to place this ultimate. But since I'm doing a very specific speed run, I know that I need to hit very specific targets, and that everything on this top row is going to be dealt with by blue. I don't need to worry about this top row because blue will deal with it. Other people will need to worry about this top row, and you probably should be affecting this top row more so than this back row. But again, that's speedrun specific technology. Okay, going into it, let me back up because a lot of stuff happened right there. So we use Yingying's, we get her on the field, we get Yugo's ult going. The good thing about Yugo's ult is that she continually generates charges, like as the battle goes on. Like as other centers use her ultimate, Yugo's ultimate gets charged. So I don't need to really worry about it. I just know that it's going to remain active for the duration of this battle. Like I'm spamming enough skills that it'll stay active. It won't stay active if you're not spamming, but since I'm spamming, it will stay active. Okay, so we get that online. We immediately core break. Yingying's core break is insane. She can break 3 cores instantaneously. So she gets these 2 nice juicy targets, and we just get really nice easy core breaks. Really beautiful to see. And then we go ahead and use all that energy we just got from the core breaks and use it on blue specifically to clear these waves. She's clearing this bottom wave, and then she's going to clear this top wave.
The end is nigh.
Okay. And now this is very specific knowledge that I have ahead of time. I know that blue and LL are going to get their ults at the same time, and I know that there's another spawn down here that I need to worry about. So I am saving my stuff for when this top row dies and this bottom row spawns in again. I'm also going to go ahead and use Hekate there just to get me some energy back. So okay, so notice that Hekate, LL, and blue are all almost at max energy. That is by design. That is not by accident. That is pre-planned. They are all going to hit max energy at the same time. That is like what I set out to do with how I distributed these powers. Okay, that top wave is almost dead. You're about to see more stuff spawn, and then we can get into the blue LL Hekate core break combo. Okay, died. Spawn. We go ahead and use Jelena's ECB right there to buff up blue. Blue is now at maximum power. She has she has LL buff, she has Yugo buff, she has Jelena buff, and then she has the passives from Hekate and Yingying on. This is max power blue. She has everything turned on. Normally you would wait for the core break phase to turn everything on, but I am skipping the core break phase and going straight into DPS. Okay, there's the second delete. This is what I was waiting for. Now I can go ahead and break the first core with blue. And then I can break the last 2 cores with Hekate. Again, it was no mistake that I got all those ults at the same time, because I needed all those ults at the same time to do exactly this. Now that I've core breaking them, I've got energy back. Now I am out of core breaks. I am down to just blue in terms of core breaking. Again, this team comp is very low on core breaking. So that's why we brought Ma on Yugo. Yugo's going to give me energy back for killing elites that have not yet been core broken. And what ends up happening is that blue does so much damage that she kills these 2 at the top, even though they're not core broken. And that's just because like this team comp is so strong that it can DPS check the boss and the elites and everything else in the field. So we just go ahead and use all that energy. Again, I'm just going to brute force these elites on top. And it just so happens that all these waves, this top wave, there's a spawn here, there's a spawn up here. Blue is hitting all 3 of these spawns while hitting both elites while hitting the boss. She's hitting literally the entire map, and it's Blue's OP.
The end is nigh.
Okay, and then we get to this spot. Having Ma and killing those two elites gave me 2 more energy back. Thank you, Yugu, for holding on to that crime brand. And then what ends up happening is that there's only one more spawn to deal with. Everything else has died. Everything else has walked into Blue's missiles and died. We don't have to worry about them. We just need to kill this top wave. And the boss's HP, like, look at how fast that boss HP bar drops.
The end is nigh.
I'm playing on slow-mo, so you don't get to see it here.
The end
But as
is
soon
nigh.
as I, like, let go of my actions, that HP bar just fucking melts. Oh my god, it's so much damage. It's ridiculous. Now, at the end of that, we get this 281 score with Blue doing most of the damage. I see a lot of people have their Yingying doing most of the damage, and Yingying does do a lot of damage to the point where she could be a primary DPS, but in this case, Blue is just doing so much, she's killing them on spawn, that they never had a chance to walk into Yingying's ultimate. And I also placed Yingying's ultimate in like what I will call a bad location, specifically because I knew Blue had it covered, and that I didn't need Yingying at DPS. Yingying was here for the passive, and she was here for the core break. So I could have placed her ultimate much better to like steal some of the damage from Blue, but ultimately, like, for this specific speedrun, it was better to use Yingying for a more specific purpose rather than just like straight DPS. But your Yingyings will probably do more damage unless you are like under 16-second speedrunning like I am. Like this is an insane clear time. But yeah, that's the run. Very, very strong team, very specific. Again, the core team is Yingying, Yugo, Jelena, and a DPS center. And then you need another support Arcana, and then you have a Catalyst of Choice. So like these 5 are more or less set in stone. You can swap Blue out for any DPS Arcana. You can swap Hecate out for Raven. But it's a very strong team that has a lot of flexibility in battle, but no flexibility out of battle. The team comp is pretty much set in stone. And there's a look at the crime brands and all that stuff again. If you're interested in shackles, so let me give you shackles. There's shackles and levels and stuff. Level 70s, shackle 1 for the most part. Shackle 1, shackle 0, shackle 1, shackle 1. Hecate's shackle, whatever Hecate is. I haven't finished the main story yet, so she's a little behind. LL shackle 0. So again, very low investment in terms of like shackles and stuff. I'm not like shackle 5 or anything. They're all level 70. They do have like max ECBs and everything, so like the ECBs, they're kind of cracked. Max ECB, max ECB, max ECB. And Yingying max ECB. So like the Yingying, the ECBs are kind of cracked, but you know that's neither here nor there. And my buffs, this is the biggest surpriser. The buffs are like non-existent. Boss HP and Hecate damage. Like these are awful buffs. But even with these awful buffs, it gave 281 because this team comp is just so absurd. But yeah, there will be a full guide featuring this team specifically later this weekend, maybe. We'll see how much time I have. Still trying to collect footage and all that stuff. But that's the breakdown of this fight. Most of it came down to crime brands, honestly. These crime brands are very specific. The new crime brand for Blue is absurd. But the fight itself was just make sure that Blue is buffed and make sure Blue is killing these waves as they spawn. And then again, very, very specific energy reserves for the core breaks. Like, let me show off the core breaks on these elites first. That Yingying ult is very specifically placed to break these 2 elites. That's what it's there for. And then I'm able to break those 2 elites. The next one that comes up, we very specifically huddled all of our energy on Hecate, LL, and Blue to have all their ults available at the same time so they could break... Wow, it went so fast that everything was already dead. So they could specifically break those 2 elites. Everybody's at near max charge specifically to break those 2 elites. And then over here, we ran, for these 2 elites, we ran Ma specifically to get energy back from them, knowing that we couldn't core break them, knowing that our team comes now out of core breaks, and we can still get energy off them from the Ma crime brand that Yugo is wearing. So very, very specific elite core break timings and setups. But outside of like how am I core breaking these elites, very straightforward, spam Blue on every lane and let her kill every wave. But yeah, that's the run. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next time. Peace.